Hello, my continuing video. Today we're going to take a look again at our Lucario in the Open Great League this time around. This Pokemon is actually looking quite decent on paper for this league, having very similar matchups to Annihilape, so let's see if this is going to be actually the case. I'm kinda, don't really think it's going to be the case, because like you don't really have the bulk with this Pokemon, so it's always a little bit tricky, but of course, Force Palm is going to be one of the best new fast moves in the game, so let's see how this is gonna go. We're going to have a team here of Gligar plus the Lickitung, not very creative at all, but that's kind of the thing about the current meta, which I don't really like. I feel like it's very difficult to be really creative in the current meta just because it's like you're kind of getting forced to run a certain Pokemon in order to even have a chance right now. And that's like the kind of thing which I hope for the next season gonna get addressed by nerfing some of the top meta Pokemon. It just feels like it is kind of forcing you to run one, like at least like 2 out of a set of like 10 Pokemon in order to have a decent team. Not really the biggest fan of it, but anyway, we're going to have a very solid balanced team here, of course. We're going to have our lead, going to be able to beat those fighting type Pokemon, like the Annihilape. We have a safe sub of Lickitung, trying to bait out Annihilape, trying to bait out any kind of fighting type Pokemon. And then we're going to have the Lucario on the deck to try to also beat those Ice-type Pokemon. Like a Dewgong, for example, we can easily beat with this Pokemon. So, like on paper, this team looks like a lot of fun. And look also at this Bastion getting completely bashed up from that Force Palm as we can move on to the second battle. Germnaa in the lead, you know. By the way, I actually tried out, I don't know if I said actually before, but I actually tried out Lucario with Power Up Punch as well before for 2 battles, and I literally lost, I think, both of them because I had Power Up Punch and not Shadow Ball, so yeah, that's why I kind of went back to Shadow Ball as well. Maybe I'm going to take a look at Close Combat eventually as well on this Pokemon, but right now I feel like Thunder Punch plus the Shadow Ball might be the best moveset that you can run on this Pokemon. Depending on the meta, maybe go for Blaze Kick over the Thunder Punch, but right now it's definitely the best kind of moveset that you can go for. As said before, like I literally had like 1 battle where I was going up against a Trevenant, had a shield advantage, and just needed to go for the Shadow Ball and had Thunder Punch and Power Punch available for myself, which just doesn't really help. So yeah, don't see the battles where I didn't have Shadow Ball because they were basically lost because I didn't have Shadow Ball. Anyway, you're going to have here the Trevenant against us, and at this point I kind of know already what they're going to have in the back, because Trevenant, especially in this kind of way the opponent's team was, is paired together with Dewgong, and this can be a little bit of a trickier one. But as we know that's very likely going to be a Dewgong in the back, I can kind of try to play around it and hopefully it's going to work. The thing is here today, the game is completely laggy, which you see the entire time in the recording as well. Like all those kind of frame drops that you see throughout the battle were even worse for me because the battle is sped up here, as you can see there as well, lagging in like 2 frame drops. Completely unplayable kind of right now, but it is what it is. As hopefully in the end they're going to be able to fix it. Like they literally had a fix in place there as well and pushed it, and it was only available for like 2 days, and then they kind of read it. I don't know like what is happening there with Niantic, but we can still win the battle, which is kind of nice. Next opponent, we're going to have Wigglytuff, and honestly, for me, this is like the most problematic Pokemon in the current meta. Wigglytuff, I feel like they made too strong. Like I feel like I don't really see the reason why they gave it Icy Wind plus the move Swift. I think it didn't have disarming voice before either. I think we were running like Play Rough and Ice Beam at one point and it was already a solid Pokemon. I don't know why you have to buff it like 20 times. It is literally one of the most annoying Pokemon to deal with. I know some people, like my girlfriend, love this Pokemon quite a lot, but yeah, I don't know, like it's just very annoying to deal with. It's currently everywhere in the meta, which makes it nearly impossible to run fighting type Pokemon unless you have them on the same team apparently here. It just, I don't know, like I'm not the biggest fan of the current meta, not because I don't, like I think it's unbalanced or whatever, but just the Pokemon that are in there are relying a lot of like fast move pressure or like debuffing moves, which is just a little bit annoying. But you have to see how the new meta is going to be. I'm kind of excited for the next season for sure, as we will try to farm them all the way down here with our Lucario. Of course, the Steel typing usually is a great type to have, especially also with the Fighting typing combination there, because Fighting typing going to be weak against Fairy type Pokemon. Steel typing can kind of cover this up. Same for like Flying type moves, going to be better for you as well, but you just don't have the bulk on Lucario. Next opponent, we're going to have here the Gligar in the lead. Like the mirror with the Gligar is going to be quite a neutral one, of course. We can just go for one charge move, and we kind of maybe want to try to catch an aerial ace later on onto our Lickitung. You kind of want to, of course, keep the shields for that Lucario, because Lucario is so paper thin in terms of the defense stat that we kind of need some shields. For this one, we are going to be able to catch a move here, which is going to be quite lovely, because the opponent is also now energy dry, which means they will not get to a dig against me. they just swap out straight away into the Charge Bug, and we have some more frame drops here as we can reach out for that one Body Slam, trying to knock them out. Going to not work out, of course, because they still need basically one more Body Slam onto them for them to go down, but let's see XL coming through, and they go for it back to back, which means they're out of energy at this point. We can go for at least 5 more fast moves with our Gligar, which is going to be nice, so we can end up again with another Aerial Ace stored. Now we have to hope that there's something in the back that we can deal with as well with our Lucario, because the opponent's Gligar is already kinda low. The opponent is actually going to swap also into the Gligar here, as far as I remember. Exactly, so we can knock it out with that Aerial Ace, but we have to have something in the back that we can deal with. And honestly, any kind of neutral scenario in the 2-shield scenario is really good for us, and it's going to be the Lantern. We have a same energy move basically there as well, with like the Surf compared to the Thunder Punch. Of course, Surf does a little bit more damage. We generate energy, I think 3.3 each turn, which is quite interesting, and the opponent, I think it's like 3.5. I think they outspeed me usually, but let the move go through anyway, and so we can win this battle quite easily. Next opponent, we're going to have the Shadow Alone Sand Slash here, and this is something that happened to me quite often while I played this team. Like, the amount of Ice-type leads that I encountered against my Gligar was quite ridiculous. So I don't think I was really lucky with the matchups that I had, still was able to come on top of them quite often, which is kind of nice, as we will see the Annihilape coming in. That's kind of how this team is supposed to function, because again, our Pokemon in the back has basically no play against Annihilape, so we really, unless you have of course the energy and the opponent is shieldless, then you can go for a Shadow Ball, knock them out, but we really have to kind of rely on our other 2 Pokemon to bait it out and knock it out. So here I will decide to use a shield here on my Gligar, just expecting the Shadow Ball coming through here, and we rather want to get rid of that energy here, get a ton of energy here, as well as trying to maybe catch an Ice Punch onto our Lucario. I feel like this is our win con. I'm gonna try to swap out straight away, as they're very likely gonna go into the Ice-type Pokemon, and they decide to go ahead and go into that Sand Slash. I sadly don't get the fast move in. Like, one fast move does around like a third of the opponent's health, which is kind of mad, and they're sadly going to have a Gligar in the back, which is going to be basically impossible to win now. So yeah, unfortunate matchup there, like literally not a lot that I could do. They have kind of a complete hard counter team to mine, like they literally, their backline hard towards my backline, their lead hard towards my lead, so there's nothing I can do here. Good game there, let's move on. Next opponent, Lantern in the lead. Now what you kind of want to do here is you want to try to catch a Surf onto your Lickitung. Lickitung is a bulky boy, and a bulky boy can take some Surfs, as we will be able to do this here exactly, as we can also later on have like the dig stored for that Lantern. We're gonna get out the Wigglytuff, which I actually quite like. Like, this is the cool thing about it. I think like the backline in general, I think this team is nearly perfect around that Lucario, because you can really help it out there with that Lickitung Saves Up. Lickitung Saves Up gets out basically everything that you don't want to face as a Lucario, and so like that's a very good backline, and also together with that lead of Gligar, I think that's really perfect. So I really enjoyed this team in terms of the building for it. Of course, the meta itself though can be quite rough for something like Lucario. Even though it looks good on paper, it was definitely a little bit on the squishier side, and you know everything is kind of around bulk in the Open Great League, so it's a bit tricky. We're going to see here the Dugong coming in, and also the Lantern coming back in here as well, so it comes down if we can do something against this with our Lucario. Can Lucario still win us this battle? Let's find out. We can go for one Thunder Punch here, which is going to be enough to hopefully knock them out. It's not going to be enough because they use a shield, and I'm forced to try to go for a Shadow Ball, but I can't, and so I'm forced to go for another Thunder Punch here, trying to get the knockout now, and it's not enough, but I can still get the knockout with another fast move. I thought they would be able to serve, but they weren't, and so Thunder Punch is coming through. This should do a ton of damage against the opponent. We should force them to go for a charge move here as well. And with this, Gligar is in a prime position to finish up this battle, as we will get to that dig, which we have like so much energy stored here. Holy hell, like man, I would have been able to just win this just with the Gligar most likely. But let's move on to the next opponent. Again, Sandslash in the lead. It is not ideal for us. It's Powder Snow even. Like, honestly, I have not seen Sandslash at all recently, but apparently it's back. It is definitely solid in the meta right now. Like, I don't think it's a bad pick at all. Definitely something that you can run right now for sure. Has a lot of good coverage moves, especially against the current meta where there are a lot of flying type Pokemon around. I think it's a cool Pokemon to have, so like, I'm not gonna say that how could people actually run this Pokemon. It's actually a very good Pokemon right now. Just haven't really seen it recently. But we're gonna get out here the Goodra, which is kinda okay for me, I guess. It is not really ideal. We're still kinda in a spot where I kind of get hardball the entire time, but it's fine. We're gonna be able to try to go into our Gligar, go for a move. I think I would have been able to survive awkward here, but you don't really want to leave your Lucario against 3 Pokemon in the back because Lucario cannot really deal with that. But we can go for an Aerial Ace here. Gonna get them. Yeah, gonna get the shield there from them. I can still try to go for another one. Let's see what they're gonna do here. I have to let the move go through now and hope that my Lucario can win this one. We have to go for the full farm down with Lucario. Can we do this? Let's find out. Yes, we can. 3 fast moves this against that Goodra, like we do so much damage. And it's down to the Cresselia matchup here. We have Shadow Ball for that one. Well, let's see if this is going to work out for us. Let's see if we can hit this move. And we can do a ton of damage against them, but sadly just barely not enough. And honestly, if we ever gonna get like Shadow Riolu and Shadow Lucario, I feel like this would really benefit this Pokemon. Just because you're squishy already, you just get like a little bit more damage output with it. I think it would be really, really cool for the future. But I think we did not have a single baby Pokemon, at least, that is Shadow. But we have like the middle stage evolution. I think there's like Shadow Magma and Shadow, also definitely Shadow Sudowoodo. So like maybe we're gonna get just Lucario itself, not the baby Pokemon, even though it would be so cool to have like a Shadow Riolu somewhere. But yeah, anyway, would be very cool for like the next Shadow update. But we have to see what it's going to be anyway, because next month we're going to have another Shadow event. Can't wait to play it, because usually I'm not really able to play those events because of university, and this time around it's actually during the free time for that one, so I can't wait to get all the new Shadow Pokemon straight away to make some nice content about them. So anyway, if you enjoyed this video as well, if you're still sticking here at the 11-minute mark, then feel free to leave a like and subscribe. Would really appreciate it, as we will see here the Lickitung power go through with that body slam. Legacy move, I should definitely remind myself to put some stars for the legacy moves. I didn't do it here this time around as well, but I cannot really change it anymore. But yeah, Lickitung, of course, body slam going to be legacy. I think anything else on this team is not legacy. Yeah, just have to kind of maybe put this in there as well. I know that some people were asking for that. But anyway, we're going to see the Aqua Tail coming through. We will see also the Gligar now coming in against the opponent. We have to do a call here. We have to call that the opponent swaps out now into their Sand Slash again. And we can catch the Ice Punch here onto that Lucario. And that is ginormous, because now we all of a sudden have a decent player winning this battle, as I am forcing the opponent to go straight for their Aqua Tail. And they do that straight away here as well. And so what I can do is now I should be able to just go for 2 Aerial Aces, because the opponent is going to be low enough for that one thanks to the Force Palm. And Lucario really helped us out here. That catch was amazing for me. And now this is going to be an easy victory, and we can move on to the final battle of today. So let's see what they're going to have. They're going to have a Lantern here in the lead. That is going to be quite an awkward matchup, but we can do the exact same thing as we did before. Go for 6 fast moves, swap out into your Lickitung, catch that serve from the opponent, let it go through, and have that energy for later. Having Gligar with energy is honestly one of the biggest cheat codes in this kind of meta right now, because there's nearly nothing that can really take it other than basically Skarmory. And so here we're going to get out again the Wigglytuff, and I'm totally happy with this. I am totally okay with getting this Pokemon out of here, especially as they go for a charge move. And that's actually quite nice, because the Icy Wind is not going to get the knockout against me, and I can still get another Body Slam off, which will put them into Aerial Ace range. And so like basically the opponent just wasted a ton of energy and gained nothing with this, like because everything is kind of the same now for them. And we can go for that Aerial Ace, try to knock them out, get the knockout here straight away, still have some energy stored. Let's see what they're going to go into next. It's going to be the Dewgong, and we are forced to swap out straight away, and now it's down to Lucario. Can Lucario win this battle? We can try to go for a Thunder Punch, but I cannot want to wait until the opponent goes for one charge move to align my fast moves perfectly. We are still in an okay spot though. Let's see. We can go for that Thunder Punch now. Gonna very likely get the shield from the opponent, as they need to keep their Lantern around. And yes, we're gonna get the shield, but Force Palm damage is adding up. And like honestly, it is so crazy how much damage Force Palm is doing here. And as we will see, we can go for the full farm down with this new fast move, as we gonna try to go for that Thunder Punch spam against the opponent. Let's see how this is gonna go. We're gonna be able to now go for actually a dig and still have one Thunder Punch stored. Of course, we win the CP tie against the Dewgong, and so we're in a great spot to win this battle, but it's still not over, because Dewgong is a very bulky boy. We're going to have to see if a Thunder Punch non-stab is going to be enough. We do a ton of damage with the Lucario, but isn't enough to knock them out here. Let's find out. It is not, but we still survive with a 1 HP and a dream. And this is going to be it for this battle. Actually got a 4-1 with Lucario in the Open Great League. So hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.